This is the Raw Project, where wisdom and encouragement meet authenticity. Welcome to the Raw Project, real authentic wisdom. And today I'm here with the brains of the operation. This is Harrison, my youngest son. He's the person that thought of the Raw Project. He's the author of it. And I'm so thankful that he's here with us today. And we're going to just have a discussion about bridging the gap between our generation, because I think it's really important that we are bridge builders, that we're people that open the way for others to be able to communicate and to listen to one another so that we can grow in love, we can grow in empathy, we can just grow in an example of how to be a kind individual in this world. And so we want to talk a little bit about that today. So this is episode 4, and we're so thankful for all the input and the emails and the text and the comments. So thank you for that. That's been really encouraging to us. And so episode 4 is about bridging the gap. It's bridging the gap. And so Harrison, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you started the Raw Project in the first place?
Yeah, definitely. So I came up with the idea a few months ago, and just knowing my mom, obviously my whole life, how much of an influence she's been to other people in various walks of life, giving them encouragement as well as being that person that really champions them throughout any circumstance they may find themselves in. And I recognize this for as long as I can remember. And I wanted to give my mom the opportunity to broadcast her voice to even more diverse audience, a larger audience, people my age. We're a specific group that has gone through a lot through society to this point. And I know her words and her encouragement exudes wisdom to a lot of people. And I thought the stories that she's shared to this point, that she'll continue to share, can help you along the way. And so that was the idea behind the project, as well as she just mentioned, bridging the gap between different generations. There's a lot of back and forth between different generations. It's my way or the highway, and so we want to demonstrate that myself and my mom from different generations, that we can come together and connect and listen to each other's problems and help when we see fit. And so that was the idea behind the project. And so far, we just want to say thank you for all your support.
So didn't you feel kind of weird, like saying, okay, I'm going to promote my mom, I want my mom to be a person to talk to my friends, and you're 26 and what have you, and you wanted your mom to do that. Didn't you feel like, gosh, this is weird, or what people might think about me, or my friends might think? Did you struggle with that at all?
I did for a little bit, and then I started to think about times in my life where I made a bad impression or did something foolish or stupid, and while I'm making that decision, I'm not thinking about how other people are thinking about me within that moment, and I know I'm leaving a negative impact on people with my decisions. And so once I kind of got past that mental block of what happens if the girl that I like finds out I'm doing this, or my friends, they don't approve because of whatever reason, I just thought that my mom has a positive message to share, and if we can help one person along the way with them just feeling confident in sharing their story, or learning how to listen to other people's problems, then I feel like it would be a positive project and a positive outcome. And so I really just had to compartmentalize between, is it really important what other people think about what I'm doing? regardless of what you do, if you do something positive or you do something negative, someone's going to have something to say about it. So I was able to get over that hump rather quickly, and just figured that this will have a positive effect on a lot of people.
Yeah. So, and that's something that every generation struggles
Right.
with. We care about what people think. I think sometimes way too much.
Yeah.
And that stops us from doing, things like this or other things that we may be called to do. It can stop us. And so I think that that's something that can help us in the generations if we encourage one another to do things, to step out and to do things, and not really care what people say about us or what people may think about it. Because, like you said, everybody's going to think something.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have some thought about it. So I'm really glad that, even you and I working together so far,
Right.
helped you over that hump. So that's really good. So I was thinking about like the issues, between our generations. I'm a Generation X. Harrison's a millennial, and the gap is large, and I think it's large because a lot of times people in my generation will say, what you guys are going through is not that big a deal. You guys have everything given to you. We didn't have anything given to us. And I think that there's just a big disconnect. So what types of issues, or even when you hear people like my age say that to you, how do you feel? And what type of issues are you guys facing as a generation that maybe we could help with?
Yeah, definitely. I think something that you said is very important, that we've been given everything, and to an extent that's true. We have social media. We know exactly where we're going when we're driving. We don't have to use a map, or we have a lot more resources to our fingertips, and I think it's a gift and a curse.
Yes.
Social media, there's a expectancy that you're supposed to look a certain way, or you're supposed to drive a certain car, or you're supposed to live a specific lifestyle to impress a lot of people. I think what is important for different generations to come together on is listening to each other's stories.
Yes.
Everybody's going through something, whether it's very small or if it's very big. And if you can actually put your pride aside and, not start with, well, we had this to deal with when I was your age, really listen. We deal with a lot of mental health, and, that conversation is, it's sensitive to a lot of people because, if you share that you struggle with X, Y, and Z, you might be frowned upon because you're showing that you have a vulnerable side, and that's not okay. A lot of people suffer at the hands of mental health, and we need to put our arms around those people that struggle on the day in and the day out, and you may have no idea what they're going through. And so I think when you start to listen, and you really listen to what the people that you're talking to are saying about themselves, just about how they describe their day, that should really give you some insight on how you can help. Showing empathy. The last couple of years within the country have been as chaotic as it's ever been. An example of that is the George Floyd murder, and a lot of people's responses were, well, if he wasn't doing this with his life, that shouldn't be your response. That's someone's son, that's someone's father, and people think that if they're not directly impacted, then it doesn't really matter.
Right.
And so when you really put yourself in someone else's shoes, and you do that by listening to their story, then I think that gives you a different point of view on how you can connect. And so listening is what I would say for different generations.
Yeah. So, and I agree. I think, listening is a skill that's lost.
Yes.
It's a lost skill. I think we listen. Everything is instantaneous, and we just listen. to gather the information that we think we need,
Yeah.
and then we're on to the next thing, or we're so stimulated by social media or TV or music or whatever that our attention spans are so short
Yeah.
that we can't really actually listen for more than 5 minutes before our mind is drifting off.
Exactly.
You know, and so then how can we talk to people? How can we, empathize if we can't even listen to them? And so I agree. I think that that's something that my generation can do to help your generation is that we can listen, because there's a lot of what you're saying about the mental health issues and those types of things that we don't even understand that is happening to you.
Right.
That's happening to your generation. And so because we don't understand it, we just think that they're being lazy, or they're flaking up, or they're snowflakes, or we have all these words that we say.
Yeah.
And really what we're doing is that we're causing you guys to feel less than, or we're devaluing you.
Yep.
Right? And so I feel like that's something that we have to work on to be able to bridge the gap. And that's what we hope that the Raw Project does.
Yep.
I mean, we really do. We hope that the Raw Project can bridge the gap, between the generations. So communication is such a big thing. And so how does your generation, how can we communicate to you? How would you like us to say things to you, like when you need help? I mean, how does that conversation go? If you need help with something, how should I approach you? Obviously not like you need to do this or you should do that, but how can I do that better? Or how can the people that are watching, how can they communicate better with your generation if they're in mine?
Yeah, well, for one, I'd say pick up the phone. If you're not in proximity, probably don't text somebody. I would, pick up the phone and speak with them. Text messages can always get thrown, out of sorts, or if you leave out an exclamation period, exclamation point, then, it can be taken, out of context. So I think, getting on the phone, then if you're, within proximity, like go see them, go see them and be genuine. And I think the way that you can do that is having an authentic approach and consistently checking up on somebody. Don't do it just because we're telling you to do it or someone told you to do it. I think if your mom was going through some type of sickness or disease, you'd be on the phone with her, you'd be right by her side every single day. And I think taking that approach with the friend that doesn't have many friends, and showing that you care. And I think it goes back to what people think, and I wouldn't harp on that too much. Everybody needs someone, and I think when you can just reach across the aisle and show that you care, whether that's with your time, whether that's with your words, whether that's through your actions, I think that's a good way to start. And just being consistent with your communication, and paying attention to what they're saying. Don't ask the same question every time if they already told you the answer.
Right.
Paying attention to what they're saying, what they're going through, is something that I would really look forward in if I was going through something.
Yeah, so you're actually saying that my generation ought to pick up the phone and call you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll answer?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And so that and we can text, but that shouldn't be the first thing that we do.
Right.
Is that what you're saying? We shouldn't do that first.
Yeah, just because, as I mentioned, text messages can be, taken out of context, depending on how they're worded. and getting on the phone and it's like it's the substitute of meeting with somebody, in my opinion. And so having that face-to-face conversation, that's what I think that's the most important thing. If you have an iPhone, hop on the FaceTime with somebody.
Yes.
And so I think really just making yourself as available as possible is huge, and it means a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that I think we need to know how to step onto the bridge of communication. And so that's really good, Harrison. You're giving us some ideas of how we can do that. The people that are in Generation X, my age, that have millennial children, or I have millennial friends, and so just being able to be present and talk to them and call them and listen to them, have coffee, like you said, if hang out, go to their house, go and see them. And these are things that we think that you guys don't want. So that's gotten in our mind somehow, that we think that you guys don't want us to do that. And here you're saying that you do want us to do that, but you want us to do it in a way that we're coming with authenticity, and we're actually paying attention to what you're saying, and we're not asking the same questions if we know the answers, but we're trying to see how you're doing and whatever. And I think that that's a huge thing for mental health, is to see how people are doing, like really asking and really paying attention, right?
Yes.
And so I think that's awesome, how that is. And so as we are working together, on this project, what would you like to see happen? I mean, what's like the goal? What would you like to see? I know that you said earlier that if it helps one person, and but I know you. I know that you have big goals and big dreams and what have you. What would you like to see the Raw Project grow into? What would you like to see?
Yeah, I definitely want to see it be a resource or an avenue for people from all walks of life. It doesn't matter if it's just two specific generations. It doesn't matter what age you are. That there are people that care about you. At the end of the day, I think we're told by society to value certain things, and I think we need to value each other and the time that we have with each other. And there's a lot of different distractions that we have that can easily distance us or isolate us. COVID's not a distraction, but that was a major event that isolated us without us having a choice. And I feel like that created habits and routines where, okay, I've spent this much time with myself, then I'm just going to continue to do it. And this is just going to be my lifestyle. And I believe that we're designed to be around people and with people. And so just being able to connect and and just let you know that we really care about what you're going through. And if you feel like you don't have a voice, like we're here for you. And we want this to be as authentic for you as possible. And we're serious when we ask if you will reach out to us. Like we want to get to know you, and we want to know your story, and show that regardless of what you're going through, you have two people that are going to support you along the way in life.
Yeah, and so that's really great. And I know, Harrison, you had told me once a story, just of a situation with somebody that you knew, and they didn't necessarily have anybody to talk to about what they were going through. They were going through a very difficult relationship situation, and they didn't have anybody to talk to and whatever, and you just happened to be there, at a time when they needed somebody. And so that's what we hope. That's what we want to see, you know, and so that's why we ask for your stories. That's why we ask for, you know, you to email us and whatever, because we are serious about this. We're serious about wanting to help, and we're serious about bridging this gap, because I realize that I have something, or Harrison helped me see, that I have something that his generation needs. And I think I've always known that they have something that I need. They have something that I need. It says, you know, being around young people keeps you young. Well, I'm not so concerned about staying young, but I'm concerned about their wisdom in going through things that I don't even understand yet, or that I haven't been through, that I can learn from them and that they can learn from us. So I hope you enjoyed episode 4. Please reach out to us, like we said, and you know what? We care about you. We really do. I know this is a funny medium, you know, us sitting behind a phone camera, whatever. It's a funny medium, but when we say that we care, we mean that.
Yep.
We care. And so have a great day, and we'll see you next time.